Everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica. In this week's episode, we have a rare treat for you, The Man Called Dracula, or just Dracula. It does have a Japanese title, but I would mangle the pronunciation, so I'm not going to try. Before we get into the episode itself, if you can do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that bell. Helps us get more viewers, and we really appreciate it. So the interesting part about this game, other than the fact that it is extremely rare, is how little of the game I can actually show you. This game does have nudity, and while I'm not one for censorship, I'm also not one for getting a strike on my channel, so you're just going to have to imagine what it is that I'm not showing you. The game was made and released in 1992 by Fairy Tail, a well-known Japanese visual novel developer who has a host of games that have absolutely incredible artwork and are also very problematic. And I think those are supposed to be women, but I think the guy on the left might be Sebastian Bach. I'm not sure, but it definitely looks like a male to me. This game is going to be unlike anything you've seen or played before. There is a rich history of Japanese visual novels, but I feel like Fairy Tail and Dark Force, and they're the same company that just changed titles now and again, made games that were unlike anything I've ever seen before. The artwork is incredible. There is so much detail and so much style in every frame of animation and every background that you just can't help but want to look at everything. When you see those articles about great 2D sprite work or 2D backgrounds coming out of Japan in the 90s for Japanese PCs, Fairy Tail games feature quite heavily in those articles. The unfortunate part is that these games are extremely difficult to locate. It took me about a year of active searching to be able to actually find this game and buy it, and I am playing it on original Sharp X68000 hardware, and the capture was a giant pain trying to get this into my FrameMeister and computer, but I wanted to do it on original hardware, and I did it on the original disc that came with the system. Thankfully, they do work. And you see these characters here. The art is great. Unfortunately, like I said, I had to censor a few things just because I want it to be able to be seen by as many people as possible, and I don't want to get any strikes. But of course the game is problematic. It's really difficult to play some parts of this because you really don't feel good about playing it, and I really debated whether or not I actually wanted to show this game. I was really excited to feature it, but as I was playing it and capturing it, I kind of had second thoughts, but then I decided you're all adults, you can decide what it is you want to play. If you're sensitive to the idea of nudity in games, don't play the game. If that doesn't bother you too much and you want to experience the incredible music, the incredible artwork, and the overall world that this game inhabits, then 100% I recommend this game. Now, I would emulate it. The game is quite expensive. I paid a large amount of money to get this from Japan, but I definitely wanted to play it, so it's something that I felt was valuable enough to kind of invest in. If you do want to pick a copy up, you can get it on the X68000, you can get it on the FM Towns, and you can get it on the NEC PC9801. Although I do not think that any of those are going to be any easier to find than other versions, and they're all going to cost you a decent amount of money. But if you're collecting for the X68000 or other Japanese PC platforms, you're definitely going to be used to putting that investment in. Now, you are going to see that the black bars are going to start showing up, and like I said, I do apologize for that. In my personal opinion, I should be able to show you what this game actually is doing, but I am being sensitive just to who's watching and what YouTube's rules are. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of censorship, so if you do want to check the game out, just go ahead and play it. It's really not that bad. It can be a little bit surprising. Obviously, this here is a little strange, but of course, it's not, in our contemporary view, that bad. But you do always have to take into the sensibilities of who might be watching and what, the current climate is, and that is something that, in gaming is a huge topic right now. We've touched on that previously in some other episodes that have, kind of problematic imagery of women or, sex in general. But like I said, just play the game. It's really not that bad. If you're into this sort of thing, I think you can probably forgive it. There's a lot worse games on Steam currently, things that are just there for shock value that are devoid of any sort of relevant gameplay or decent art. So something like The Man Called Dracula is definitely not going to be too bad for your eyes. As far as the gameplay is concerned, there are some good point-and-click elements and some puzzles you do need to solve. Granted, this game has never been translated and it's 100% Japanese, so I can't give you a total story overview, but what I can say is you are Dracula and you are trying to claim your 5 brides so that you can return back to your full power. What we're doing right here is we're just getting a bone off a dead horse. We scared those crows away, and that's going to allow us in the next scene to be able to get this dog to stop standing guard and to get into the door that we need to get into to progress to the next area. So you do have some decent thought puzzles. There is that little brain icon right there, and that gives you hints, but of course, it's in Japanese, and I have absolutely no idea what the hints are saying. If you do want to play this game, I want to warn you there is no walkthrough whatsoever for it, and there is no translation. So you just need to click around on everything until you're able to progress the story. In regular gameplay, that's not too bad. In a capture situation, it can be a giant pain in the butt to deal with, but I really wanted to bring you this game because there's so little known about it and shown that it seemed like a really special thing to be able to put in the Dracula series. Did have to edit a lot of that scene out there. You do claim 2 more victims for Dracula, and now that you have claimed those victims, we're going to be able to advance to the next part of the story. As far as these games as a genre are concerned, I definitely do enjoy them, and I think, even today we get a lot of great visual novels, things like Steins Gate, or the Danganronpa series, or even 999 or Virtue's Last Reward. So these type of games have progressed to modern conventions as far as how games are played, but we still get this great storyline and point-and-click adventure going along with it. So right here, all you need to do is look around a little bit, and you're going to see a wagon is going to materialize, and we're going to be able to advance to the next part of the story. So what you do is just watch a little bit, enjoy some of the music and the cutscene. I'll be back in just a second. And now we're into the second stage, if you want to call it that, of the game, and we have some more beautiful 2D background art. And I do like the fact that this game is presented in widescreen. Granted, the overall window is 4:3, and it is smaller than your monitor, but the actual gameplay area is nice widescreen, and you get an overall great vibe. You got these creepy guys sitting here with the clock, and that guy in the rocking chair who I have absolutely no idea what he does whatsoever. And there are some background puzzle elements as well. You're going to see I'm going to click on this head, and it's going to fill the pool up. I have absolutely no idea what that's for, if it's relevant or not, and that is the difficulty in playing these games without translation, is that you are going to just achieve some things that you're not sure what they do, and you're not sure when or if they're going to become relevant. But I clicked it, we got a full pool, and we are moving on. I do love how this game treats scale. It really does look like that path recedes in the background. Whoever the artists were that were working on these games at Fairy Tail were absolutely incredibly talented. You've got all these different runes or glyphs around the door. There's great shading, there's animated effects. And I love that about this game, is that it just has so much going on in each frame. It's telling a story even if I don't understand the dialogue. And that's something that I feel like those Japanese PC games in the 90s did such a good job of compared to games we got in North America. When we were playing Dracula Unleashed, that was kind of the same era, and we're getting these kind of hokey video elements, and granted they were fun to play and fun to look at. Something like this holds up so much better, and I'm sure if you could actually understand Japanese, the story would be really good, because all these stories definitely had a lot going on with them. So now all we're going to do is we're just going to keep moving on, and we're going to find the second area of the game. We're going to get a little bit more story and a little bit more animation. I've never beaten this game. I've gotten close, but I always get a little bit bored having to click around time and time again and solve puzzles without being able to understand the language going on. But if you do want to try to beat the game, I would highly recommend checking it out. I may do a full playthrough of this on YouTube in the future, because it's one of those games that really doesn't have much video whatsoever. And now we have to deal with this little shuffle puzzle. I'm cutting it down a lot, but I'm not great with these sort of spatial awareness puzzles, so this did take me a little longer than I'd care to admit, but it's just a fun little puzzle that you have to solve before you move on to the next area. What I'm going to let you do is I'm going to let you watch what's going on next. The music's great, the animation's awesome, and I'll be back to close out the video in just a second. And that is The Man Called Dracula, an absolutely gorgeous looking game that probably has a great story. I don't understand, a little bit problematic on the imagery, but short of that, it's a beautiful game and I definitely recommend it. We will be back next Friday with another episode in our Technicality series. That guy just got his neck broken, and we'll be back on Tuesday with another episode in the mainline Dracula series. Short of that, hit like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you guys have a great rest of your week. See you next time. Bye-bye.